guys ready?
Yeah.
All right, well, I did my presentation on the unfair assumptions about pit bulls. And some of the stereotypes are that they're vicious, ferocious, unpredictable, crazy man-eaters. Like, I mean, I found this picture and they have like, and they're eating each other and it's just human blood right there. Like, and they're, you know, that one's like attacking, that one you just jump in. I mean, those are a lot of stereotypes that come with pit bulls that, you know, some of the results of these stereotypes is there's laws that are attempting to ban pit bulls from, you know, different cities and states, and there's restrictions on where you can take the dogs. Like you can't like take them to certain dog parks because they're afraid they're just gonna like jump up and attack you. They also have like shorter leash laws and like muzzle laws, as you can see there. And it's just, it all kind of stems from the stereotypes that these dogs have. Alright, the truth about a pit bull is they are a more aggressive type dog, and they definitely, they're built to be like working dogs. So they're very strong, so if they are to attack, they can do a lot of damage. That's why they get reported on more than like, there's a lot of dog attacks that are pit bulls, but the news reports pit bulls just because they're so strong and they do so much damage when they do. So it's kind of unfair because, you know, like if a golden retriever attacks somebody, you know, it's probably not going to do as much damage, so they don't really, like, they're not going to, that didn't happen. Whereas, like, they just really like to make this dog out to be vicious and stuff. Most of the dog attacks occur from, like, I mean, owners that try to make their dogs more aggressive, or they don't, like, as they're a puppy, you know, they have aggressive behaviors and they encourage it more than they should. Or, I mean, they use these dogs for dog fighting too, just because they're stronger dogs. So a lot of it it's more like owner error, not really the dogs, and people blame it all on the dogs. And it's important to note that like each dog has their own personality. So just because a certain dog, you know, attacks someone doesn't mean the whole breed does that. Like they wouldn't say that about or like a golden retriever. If one golden retriever attacked somebody, they wouldn't be like, oh my god, golden retrievers, vicious dog, you know, terrible. But they've just really made it out to be like that with pit bulls. Why I care. I didn't really care to begin with until I met this dog named Fletcher. He belonged to one of my friends. We went home for the weekend one time. We were just like, oh, let's go home. And she's like, oh, I have a pit bull. I was like, oh, that's cool. And I'm like, okay. So I walked in the door, and this dog was the nicest dog I've ever met. I came up to him, and I was like, oh my god. And he was like wagging his tail. And he was so nice, and we were like best friends, like for the weekend. So I didn't really like think about it. I was like, he's just a dog. And I didn't think about it until we went to the dog park. We took him to the dog park, and these people were literally like, I have Siberian Huskies, so normally when I walk my dogs, like people come up to me and like, oh, your dog is so beautiful, can I pet him? And people were literally just like looking at us and they're like just walking away. They're like, oh, I don't want to be, you know, near you. And I was like, oh my, like God, like this is just a dog. And they talked to us like we had like a bear on our leash, you know, just like walking this bear around that's gonna attack you at any moment. I was like, oh my God. And what really got me is this, like we were walking by this woman and her small child. She had like her daughter with her, and she just walked by her and she looks at our dog, and we're just like, you know, most of the time little kids like ask to pet a dog or whatever. But she just like picked up her kid, like her child, and just like walked away. And she just like looked at us like we were so irresponsible for having this dog. And I was like, oh my God, like that's so judgmental. Like it's just a dog. So that's pretty much like my story, and I was just like, and it really bothered me that people thought this about these dogs, because they're not all like that. The judgment of these dogs have, you know, made them unfairly labeled, and it labels their owners, which got me a lot, as like they're irresponsible or they're reckless people for having this type of dog, which isn't true. I mean, like I said before, it all depends on how you handle a dog. Like I said, I have Siberian Huskies, so if I could have, you know, like made them very aggressive when they were younger, but we just, you know, there's certain things that certain breeds have, and you just have to like be aware of that. So, how I think the theater should help. I didn't personally find any plays that were really related to like the unfair treatment of like pit bulls or whatever, besides like dog fighting that didn't really help the matter. So, so there weren't really any. So I think that every theater department should commission a play about, it's more about not so much just the dog, but the discrimination that goes with this, like against the dogs and their owners, And if you could get the Tectonic Theater project, or Laramie project, sort of like that, because it's a very discrimination issue, I think, not so much just I love pit bulls, and that's why everyone should love them too. And I think it should really be, the target audience should really be all Emory and Henry students. And if you could provide them, just with a free screening, because I think it's again, it's more an issue of discrimination, I feel like, against these dogs and their owners, because people aren't really educated. And if they were just educated on how to even take care of, maybe they wouldn't purchase a dog they can't really handle. Training. And why should you care? I think you should care because it's not just an issue of misunderstanding. It's not just people are just oh, I don't really realize. It's their law is banning these dogs, and they're trying to ban them from the country where they're gonna go. They don't have pit bulls in zoos, and I don't feel like anyone deserves to be discriminated against, whether it's their owners or the dogs themselves. So that's my